What's up, everybody? You're listening to High Tea with Mel, Kel, and Kay. If you're down for some unapologetic and unfiltered discussions from melanated perspectives, let's get this chat steeped and brewed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Win.
Hello.
Doing well.
My beauties. Y'all, we have a special episode for y'all. We finally have guests again. Yay! We got somebody in the tea with us. Hey, I love it. All right. Well, let me go ahead and introduce our guest that we have today. We have Miss Enchantress, and I want her to introduce herself and talk about all the things that make her a wonderful human being. Go ahead, girl.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, ladies. I am so glad to be here. So my name is Enchantress. If you don't know me, I go by Enchantress the Goddess. I am an empowerment speaker and coach, a podcast host. I am everything. I basically represent everything about women empowerment as well as healing from past trauma. And that's what I am here for. Really just trying to help others heal and live their very best life because they deserve it.
Love that.
That's
my
beautiful.
goodness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Always love that energy. Well, we are going to be, it might be a little toxic, but I feel like you got to air out some of the toxicity. We just need to talk about it. We just need to get it off our chest. And today that's going to be about baby daddies and mommies and just co-parenting in general. Like all the different dynamics. There's good, there's bad, there's I would never want that. But we won't talk about it today because, I feel like it's been a little overdue. We got into season 5 now. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hadn't brought this up sooner. Sheesh. Well, ladies, I would love for us to start off with all of us each individually say what our experiences are with this particular topic, whether it's personal, viewing, overhearing, whatever it may be. Like, how y'all ever dealt with any of this stuff before?
Mm-hmm.
Just so we clear that air.
Oh my goodness. Can I chime in first?
Yo.
Go right on ahead, boo.
Okay, so I'm a single mother of 3, ages 8, 9, and 16. So my 16-year-old, her dad passed away. We were actually married. But my thank you. My youngest 2, their dad is that, I hate to use that term toxic masculinity, but it is that. It is kind of like I only want to help you if you're going to help me stroke my ego. I want to still have access to you. And I'm not one of those that's having it. I don't understand, no shade to anyone, but I don't understand when people will leave a relationship and still be available physically for someone. Like, if I don't want to deal with you, I don't want to deal with you at all. And it seems to be like it's so normal. It's a normal factor for baby mamas and baby daddies to say, oh, well, I'm always going to mess with him because that's my baby daddy. Or, I'm always mess with him because, like, I think that's the craziest thing ever. So
you gotta move on physically and emotionally.
Exactly. And you say stuck like when you do stuff like that. But I've struggled. I left the relationship 6.5 years ago, and it's still like, to this day, he doesn't understand why I won't give him another chance or take him back. And I'm kind of punished by that from the co-parenting standpoint because I won't give him what he wants. Yeah. Wow. So I feel like a lot of men, they operate too heavy in the ego space. So they're unable, and this is not all men, because I know some amazing fathers, but the ones who operate so heavy in the ego space, they're unable to be a great father or as great as they could possibly be because they're so caught up on what the mom is doing. And so they can't be a great co-parenting partner. If that makes sense.
No, it does. They're more focused on the other outward reach things and not about the child. Because at the end of the day, it's about the child. If y'all are not a thing anymore, it should be only about your child and the betterment of that child. But some of the men that, we talked about already, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about, all right, what is she doing? Why is she not worried about me? Why is she not over here sweating me and what am I doing? But then they still doing other things that they wouldn't want you to do.
Exactly.
But this, from what I'm hearing, like, it's like this personality came out once those kids came into the picture.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like you put up a mask, and once the kids came in, your mask came down and you showed your true colors. So it kind of makes me feel like, do you think that just because we have these children together means that I need to be attached to you, even though technically you are bounded to each other for the rest of your life, for the next 18 years, for 18 years,
at least,
because you need to co-parent these kids together.
Right.
But once they're adults at this point, you don't need to anymore. But I do get it, and it is crazy because I do know somebody personally that goes through this, and it's my sister with the father of her kids that she was married to. And he'll call his son or his daughter asking about her. Mind you, he lives in a whole different country.
Yeah.
He'll call her and call his kids and not just ask about, hey, he'll ask them like, hey, what are you doing? How you doing? Whatever the case is. And he was like, oh, where's your mom? I'm calling your mom, but she's not answering her phone. She doesn't need to answer you. Both your kids have phones. They're both teenagers. You can call them and you can talk to them about them. What are you asking them about their mom for?
I go through the same thing. That's so funny. Yeah. He'll say, well, your mom didn't answer the phone. Where is she? You guys are at home by yourself. And I have a 16-year-old who may be babysitting, but it's like, oh, it seemed like she's always leaving you guys by yourself. Huh? Like, wow. It's so
it's
weird.
Like, but then that sounds like he's also trying to like gaslight your kids.
Put you
in a bad light, even though, first of all, you take care of them on a daily basis.
Right.
They get good treatment. That is not your business what I do with my personal life.
Exactly.
My kids know where I'm at.
If you have a 16-year-old, that's what they're there for.
Right.
You can stay home and watch them. You'll be fine.
You exactly.
Ain't got no bills to pay.
No.
Right, but at the same time, I still let you go out with your friends and see your friends. So don't even do that.
Right.
It's a fair trade situation.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I think that I don't think people talk about it enough. Like, guys are always saying like women trap them with kids, but it's a lot of men that intentionally try to trap women by getting them pregnant. Yeah, it happens more often than anything. I think it happens more than women doing it, to be honest. Because especially if you're dealing with like a narcissist, they know that they can only hold that mask up for so long before they're caught. So it's like a race against the clock to hurry up and get you pregnant. So at least you're stuck with a child when the true colors come, showing and shining through.
But but even to the crazy part about that is the fact that once them kids come and they start realizing that, oh my God, the responsibility
of the Scream?
Kid, and
sorry,
no, you're good. But yeah, so it's just like what I've also noticed about that too, from an outside perspective, is that, or like stories that I've heard, is that once those kids come and they realize that they're no longer going to have your attention, undivided attention, it becomes like a competition with the kid.
Oh yeah.
And that's when all like the gaslighting shit comes out, where it's just whether like, you don't care about me, you don't love me, you don't this me, you don't pay attention to me. No, nigga, I'm not gonna pay attention to you. Like, you have a whole ass child now. Like, what do you mean?
This very fragile being needs my attention a lot more than your 200 pounds something over there got, okay? This little 10-pound thing needs my help. Thank you.
And what I've realized, too, with it, too, is, like, a lot of the times, men enjoy your pregnancy more than you do. And once that baby is there, it's like, what happened? Where did you go for the last? Where did you, of the last 9 months, go? Where did you go? Where you at? Find him.
It came out of me.
Right. It's just like I need to put out like some type of missing person report because you gone.
Well, I actually have a family friend, and their husband, and they're in their 60s, and I just found this out just a couple months ago. But they're having some issues with their daughters, and particularly the daughters between the father. And what happened is that um, the mother actually spoke to my mom and gave the whole rundown of what's been going on for the past few years. Her husband has been cheating on her behind closed doors for at least 15 years.
Wow.
And they're still married. And
Whoa.
she claims and says, you know what, at this point, being in their 60s, close to 70s, he's the paycheck at this point. Like, they make good money, she's the paycheck. What's the point of spending money to get a divorce? So what happened is, when they first had their first daughter, in the 80s, after she was born, her husband looked at her basically like a piece of trash. And it happens a lot to women where the husband, the boyfriend, whatever it is, they will look at that woman as disgusting after the fact of having the kid, because it's like the body is no longer his. It is now the house that was this child that they made between the two of them. And after the child is born, that mother is now a full-fledged mother taking care of another human being that is a part of you, but that is a life that needs to be taken care of. And unfortunately, if there is no balance, and even if there is balance between the husband and the spouse or whoever the partner is, that solo attention to that male or whoever the partner is now gone. And it happens so often, and it's really sad and unfortunate.
You know what? I seen that on it's a stitch going around on TikTok, and I'll have to send it to you guys, but it was a lot of people were chiming in on it because it was a man saying that he wanted men to talk more about how after your wife or significant other gives birth to your child, how you can never see her the same anymore. And it was almost like he was condoning or trying to justify his cheating, because he was talking about how he was cheating on his wife, and they got divorced, of course, because she found out. But it was a way of him saying, like, oh, look, this is normal. Like, men can't see you as anything else except for a mother. And, women is different. When we see a great father, like the guy we're in love with being a great father, that's like a turn on for us. Like, wow, he's an amazing man. Like, I don't know what goes on in their mind where being a mom is such a turnoff, especially if you helped make me a mom. Like, I'm trying to understand that. I think it is toxic. I don't think all men are like that. I think it's something within them, as far as just over sexualizing women and seeing them as mostly sex objects, and us being here just for their satisfaction type of thing. It's it's wild. It's really weird.
Well, and it also transfers into how you were saying that they see as a sex objects. It's very true. And also the fact that it does increase the fact that women tend to like to get these mommy makeover bodies because they need to snatch back immediately after they have a child, because, oh my gosh, my husband, my partner, my parent, my co-parent, whatever, needs to see me as what I was before I was a mother. Like, I need to get the breast lift. I need to get the stomach snatched. I need to get the butt lift. I need to get everything done.
That sounds exhausting.
Yeah,
it is.
On top of having a child, and expensive. On top of having a child who's also exhausting and expensive. No, you made this up. You went halfway in on this shit. Okay. Now you need to meet me halfway. I might not look the way you want me or act the way you want me to, but guess what? If you help me with this child, I might have the energy and the time to work on myself so I can get back to that person. But if you're going to sit back and just watch me take care of a child and not help me take care of a child, then you're not going to see the same person, because I have no fucking time to take care of your baby self and the baby you made me make.
But
exactly.
It kind of goes back to what Enchantress said about like feeding the ego, where it's just like, now that I have this child, it's like, I can't do that for you anymore. Well, not to the same extent. I may be able to do it every once in a while, but I can't do it every day anymore, because I have a whole ass life to take care of at this point. So, and I think that's where the stepping out may come from in these relationships after a mom may have a child. And now that you know you don't have that undivided anymore, it's going to this little person that you help create. You kind of, it's kind of like you're in a mental competition with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. It's like Melissa said,
No.
if you help me take care of this life, I may be able to find more balance in order to satisfy your ego, because it satisfies women's ego seeing you help me with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Feel
absolutely.
great.
Also, just to take a nap.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then maybe I'll if I get to take a nap.
Like,
Who knows?
anything. Like, I dated my one fuckboy. He definitely tried it. That motherfucker wanted to buy a house, have babies, while I'm all his friend. Is my
Oh
type.
no.
Mm.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no.
That's a trap.
Mm-mm.
That is a
Yeah,
trap.
like, you want to talk about men who wanted to trap women? That motherfucker tried to trap me and my credit score, okay? And it was a no, because I saw how he was with his baby mama, and they were toxic. They couldn't even be in the same place together. Like, they would meet in parking lots to exchange the
Wow.
child.
Yeah.
And he would bring me along as a so-called witness, but really just to piss her off.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's all it's going to do is just make her mad. Because that's all it did. She gaslighted her child to not like me because I'm being nice to him. So, of course, he talks about me when he goes back home with mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be like, oh, don't talk to her. She's mean. Da, 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 da. First of all, bitch, you don't know me. And you will never meet because you and your baby daddy are toxic.
Right.
But I'm treating your child nicely. I'm not hurting him. I'm feeding him. I'm making sure he gets his nap. All the things. Bitch, I'm over here trying to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like the switch up game and just all of that is just so crazy to me. Like, and
Nah.
that's like the most repetitive story that I've heard. And that shit really is scary. Like, it really is
It's
scary.
a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? When you say that about the baby mama, I think that may have been a case of what do they call it in the narcissism world? Triangulation. He could have
Mm.
been actually telling her bad things about you, not knowing it or whatever. And because of they like playing games like that. And he sounds like a fuckboy / narcissist.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
And the
1,000%.
only reason I say that is because I had an experience. The stalker that I got away from, he was like that. He had 2 baby mamas, and he would always want me to ride with him to go pick up the kids, but they would never speak to me. And I was like, well, why don't they want to have a conversation with me? Um, as I'm around their kids all the time. That doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Oh, they don't like you. They said they don't understand why I settled for a woman like you and stuff. And I'm like, but they don't know
Whoa.
me. Why would they say that? And I realized
At
later
all.
that he was just that he was just lying, and he wanted to keep the women as far apart because the baby mamas know who he is. Like,
Mhm.
I'm still dating him and trying to get to know who he is.
But they know
If
who he is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if I was to have a conversation, they may slip up and say, "Girl,
Run!
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Run for the
mask he
hills!
wearing." Yeah, like
Mm-mm.
so
Be
yeah,
like,
the narcissist is gonna do everything in his power to keep them divided and hating each other,
Yeah.
and neither one of them know each other.
right.
Yeah, and like the messed up part is like, and it's not even nearly as bad as what you've gone through with your scenario,
Hmm.
but like, that motherfucker is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I left him in the city he lived in, and homie still hit me up on Facebook for 2 years. Like, sir,
Wow.
the first 3 responses that you did not get did not leave the hint. Like, and you don't even do social media, so that's the length of your narcissism. Like, you're gonna try any avenue I have to reach out to me. Great.
Yeah.
Well, you can sit there in silence with yourself because I'm not responding, and I'm not gonna block you. I'm gonna make sure you see when I'm online. I don't care.
You ever realize that it's so funny because like once you decide to leave a relationship, that's when men decide to work the hardest.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they want to
It's
put in
like,
all of their work then.
All the
Right.
benefits are there.
Don't you see me trying? Like, I'm trying now that it's over.
That's
I'm like,
nice.
damn. it's like, damn, I wish you put in the same effort like 2 years ago.
Or at least
Right.
half. At least half.
Goodness.
Quarter.
Felt like I was dating myself.
Yep. Oh my God.
So
That
you might as well be by yourself.
exactly.
Except there's an evil twin in the room.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's been two years and 8 months for me. I've blocked my ex from everywhere. I have not had dialogue with him, haven't reached out to him or anything, and he still tries to follow me everywhere, creating fake accounts, everything. I will not respond, and he still keeps trying. I just blocked him on TikTok last week. So because he created, after I blocked him everywhere, he created an account on TikTok so he could follow me and watch me. I'm like, get out of here. Like,
and how do you know it's him?
He uses the same
picture.
No, not same picture, the same name.
So
like,
we dumb
like
as
different
fuck.
numbers.
Exactly. Like, I know your name.
Oh my gosh, let's be smart about it too.
Right, same name, different
And
numbers.
it's always a name that is just like, how did you come up with this?
Yeah. And then he has one of the girls that he deals with. She just started following me a few days after I blocked him, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Oh, that means that means he still talks about you.
He does. He
So
does.
she found you.
Because she's reached out to my friends. I don't know her, but has reached out to my friends to try to get information from them, because he clearly talks about my friends too. So she's found them on social media.
Too much time on people's hands.
It is. Yeah.
Get a day job.
Yeah, something. They do.
Very busy.
Dang.
Well, before we get too deep into just the toxic, because I love me some toxic. Let's sprinkle in, like, do y'all have good examples that y'all seen of co-parents? Because I feel like co-parents are the good example, and then there's just baby mamas and baby daddies. Sorry.
Right.
Co-parents, like, I love to see it. Like, keep the energy PG. Like, we ain't gotta be copacetic. We ain't gotta be besties. No, let's just keep that energy separate, but together for the child and only for the child, and let's keep it pushing.
Yeah. So for me, with my my oldest daughter, dad, it took a while to get there. It took probably about 4 years post relationship before I had to keep steering him in the direction, like, no, we need to focus on co-parenting. And we eventually got to it where we were in a really healthy space. And we were friends before we even got into a relationship. So luckily for us, we were able to go back into a friendship type of role. Like, you are my friend and we are raising our daughter together. And so we could easily go to the pumpkin patch, like volunteer with the school field trip and go together.
Really?
We got along so well that people thought we were dealing with each other, but we weren't. Like, it was literally just, we had a friendship and we were co-parenting at the same time. And we were both very supportive of one another. And we had our relationships, outside of co-parenting. It was not any jealousy there. Now, again, before the 4-year time, I dealt with a lot of resentment from him and jealousy and everything. But once I kept on steering him in the direction of, this is what we need to focus on, he kind of got it together.
That's good.
That's awesome.
It's that ability to change, man.
Yeah.
That growth is healthy.
Yeah, but it also comes from wanting it.
Well, that's what I mean. The want and the letting yourself be able to change.
Yeah.
Because at some point you have to realize, like, you're just going to keep going in a cycles of, well, why don't you want me? I know you want me. No, bitch, clearly we're here and nothing's changing.
Right.
And it's not going to change because all you keep doing is bringing it up and it's just pissing me off. So there's nothing turning me on about this conversation.
Right.
So we're just going to keep going through this cycle, but eventually you have to realize, like, you have to break the cycle.
Right. And you know what? I think now that I'm thinking back, when of course I told you guys that he passed away. It actually it'll be 4 years on the 9th of this month.
Oh.
Um, yeah, but he had a lot of great like male relationships, friendships, and older and younger than him. And I felt like they were very positive like in his life. He was someone who would sit down and have a conversation and like really soak up what people had to tell him. He felt like he can learn from everybody. So I think the older he got, as he passed at 42, the older he got, just the wiser he was, and he was looking at how he contributed to some things, and he actually had a conversation with me about that, acknowledging that he's seen how what he did in the relationship caused the end to happen.
Wow.
um but I think if the more that men are open to having healthy friendships with men, not your friends that are kind of influencing you to do dirt against women, and the bros before hoes type of thing, like all of that stuff, that is so toxic to me. But actually having friendships where men are
Like
wanting
keep
you
you
to
accountable.
grow, yeah, holding you accountable, wanting you to grow, wanting you to be a better man, that type of thing, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Oh
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, because I believe in whether it's male or female. Like I do believe in having surrounding yourself with people who are on the same life path as you,
Hmm.
or who have like similar life goals and life values and morals as you.
Hmm.
Because I do believe in guilty by association. I believe in
Yep.
birds of a feather flock together. Like you can continuously make excuses for friends, but that's never gonna like change them as people. Like
Right.
change always comes from a self-conscious place of thought. Like you have to know that there's something going on within you in order for you to change. Like you can't change anybody, you can't fix anybody. Like that's all personal things. So I feel like once you are surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, it is better for you to be more self-aware of what's going on within you or what's going on with you, whether it's like relationship issues, like whether it's family, friends, or anything that you need to change, or maybe just prioritizing yourself more or whatever needs to be prioritized in those moments. So like you said, him having this healthy group of men around him, people who can help him self-reflect and make him see where he was doing wrong,
Hmm.
was a very good thing for him. Now, if he had the opposite, that change probably would have never happened.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I,
it's like how that like the community around you, especially like in the black community, like I was trying to think back about like thoughts of examples of baby mamas, daddies, or just co-parenting in general when I was growing up, and I don't really remember many because all I remember either parents were together regardless of happiness or it was a single parent situation.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And which either's fine, but like that's all I remember as a kid because as a kid, like I would hope as a parent, like you wouldn't want your children exposed to that, especially your children's friends. Like that's just to me not the look I would want my kids to have to deal with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm glad in that sense, but like even from my view, like my thought back on it is like black TV shows seeing co-parenting that was actually somewhat reasonable, but still some more single parent situations, or like the Montels and the Springers TV shows.
Oh
Like
my
Hmm.
gosh.
that's all the
I
examples I
remember
would have
that.
had. Like that shit was real
Yeah, I don't know.
and terrible.
It
Well,
was.
well, for me, having a gigantic family, because I have a gigantic family. I have my dad has 10 siblings, including himself, and my mom has 9 siblings, including herself.
Wow.
So coming from that, I seen a lot of it. A lot of my aunts are single mothers. A lot of my not a lot of my cousins, but a few of my cousins who grew up in those single parent households are now single mothers as well.
Oh.
And it's a crazy, crazy cycle. So I come from parents who are still together 30 something years now.
No,
They're
man.
hey, mom and dad. But, you know, they come from their own struggles within their relationships. But at the same time, you know, they figured out those issues. If they have actually done that, I don't know. And I really honestly don't care. I'm a grown woman. It's not my business. But regardless of where you put it, they believed in the institution of marriage and the institution of family, and they kept it together. But it does make me sad, like seeing my younger cousins or whatever aunt is raising a child by themselves or children's by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, how does your kid feel about not having that other parental figure? Because I
Yeah.
can't imagine myself growing up without my dad or without my mom, or just seeing them together every day or whatever the case is. And I always, you know, put my heart out for like mothers who are doing it by themselves or fathers who are doing it by themselves, because at the end of the day, like, kids need their parents, whether it's one or whether it's both. It's important because we have a fucked up fucked up fucked up system when it comes to children. Our government does not take care of children the way they feel like they do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've seen the shit all my life, probably since the day I opened my eyes. So it is more of a personal topic, especially, you know, growing up in it. I always told myself, I'm not having no man's child. Fuck out of here. That was like my motto, like seeing my aunts go through it, especially seeing my
Yeah.
aunts go through it. So that has always been like my life motto of saying, absolutely not. I'm not pushing out no man's baby. He needs to
Mm-hmm.
be bound to me by marriage contract. Absolutely not. He will take care of his children before or after in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I feel like.
That's so good
Go
for
ahead.
you. Oh no, I was going to say that you're saying how large your family is and how many
Mhm.
single parent households are within your family. So that makes me think that it's probably a generational curse type of issue, and your mom and dad just went against the grain,
Yeah.
um, which is amazing. It's so hard to like, or it's so easy to not even realize that this is a normal thing for your family or for your generation, and you just
Mhm.
fall into that trap like, oh well, my mom was a single mom and my grandma was a single mom, so it's no big deal. I've
Yeah.
always been taught to, just be the
And just
strong
tough it out.
woman. Mm-hmm.
And it's just
Yeah,
like,
Exactly.
you
exactly
shouldn't,
it.
and it's just like, if that's something that you don't want to do for yourself, just tough it out. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have to just because you've seen other women in your life do it. You
Exactly.
shouldn't have to. And I think that's where the self-destruction is coming nowadays, especially you hear, especially in our like social media culture,
Yeah.
that this person's popping out that person's baby, and this man had like 8 babies by 8 women. And
Crazy.
it's just like, how are y'all, how is anybody reading this and not thinking that this is not okay? Like,
It's
how,
not cool.
what's gonna
Nick
happen to
Cannon.
these children?
Future.
Future,
Nick
like,
Cannon in Future. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Y'all cut it out, y'all, if y'all listening. So
First of all, give me a shout out.
right.
Please, thank you.
and it's like the blame is on both sides. Like, I can't,
Yes.
Yeah.
like, the blame is on both sides, and I would never sit here and be a hypocrite and like just sit here and just scorn a man only
Oh
for
yeah.
that. It takes two to tango. Like, it
Hmm.
takes two. And for these women, it's just like, these are public figures. If I know their business, you know their business too. So don't act like
Exactly.
you didn't know. You knew, but you proceeded with no caution whatsoever. So,
Exactly. I swear I do not understand that. I'm like, who keeps agreeing to have babies with them? Like,
because
this
they
But see,
doesn't.
want
that's
the
the thing.
bag.
Like the Nick Cannon girls are half the girls are from his show.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And they're
Pretty
so
good.
happy.
And
They're
they
all
all know each other.
yes.
Like y'all work together.
This is horrible.
Right, he's
Y'all
a
do y'all
predator.
plan out the
Out
calendar?
there.
Like you get him
Right.
on these nights?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so
definitely.
weird.
I don't know. It's
Wow.
just so odd. Like, I can't imagine sharing my child, sharing the
Yeah.
father of my child with multiple people.
That's too much.
I'm a person who is very territorial. And
Hmm.
I think in a situation like that, I will get jealous. The fact that
Oh
No,
yeah.
my child needs the unlimited attention. This is my child. Give it to them.
But especially how close the pregnancies are. Like that
Oh yeah.
you can't
They're
even
back to back.
get yeah,
Mhm.
to
While
that
one was giving birth, one was pregnant.
yeah, this is weird. Like so
I'm like, so y'all telling me that y'all let Nick Cannon just
oh my
dip and
God.
dive,
It's horrible.
Shoot up the
dip
butt.
and dive, like mm-mm.
Yeah, I just think that it's not society, it just doesn't hold things near and dear and sacred like the
Anymore.
things that that we used to hold close. Like this is a sacred partnership, this is supposed to be this, it's just like whatever. I actually did an episode on city girls versus city boys, and I was talking about the society of where it seems like it's a competition of who can be the most toxic, who can care the least. Like, no, I don't care about you, I can do this. Like, it's just so weird, but it's really demeaning ourselves. Like, we are putting ourselves down when we are competing to be the most toxic of the bunch. Like, it's
But
odd.
also in the case of like just childbirth in general, like
Mm-hmm.
as women, it's very dangerous to have
It
children. Like
is.
it's a life or death choice.
It is.
So to do it with multiple people and multiple
Oh my God.
donors is a
Backgrounds.
lot for me to process. Like that's a part of like the judgment of just like I don't understand. Like I don't understand how you could choose to put yourself through all this. Like yes, one pregnancy might be a good easier one and one might be hard as hell.
Oh yeah.
Like why would you want to go through that so many different times?
People
Well,
has.
shoot.
I mean,
It's
if
not-
people. Sorry,
Go-
Kelly.
wait, you can go.
No, I was just gonna add that it's been reported many times that a woman's vitals during labor is very similar to somebody who's going into cardiac arrest. So it's just like
Wow.
you're telling me that you're experiencing a near death experience
Mm-hmm.
for an ain't shit motherfucker. I don't care.
It's
Yeah.
sad.
When women say it, I believe them when they say that somebody ain't shit. Like I no,
Mm-hmm.
because we've all had that experience with similar personality traits.
Yeah. And just to bounce off of what Kashana was saying, is it just reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen Enchantress, we've talked about it on here before,
Mm-hmm.
doubling down with the Dorigos on TLC.
Mm-hmm.
This show, it's a husband and wife. They're really, really, really great parents. They have 16 kids.
It's 16 now,
It's
right?
a black family,
Oh
wonderful
wow.
family, but the woman, the wife, has had 7 miscarriages.
Oh my
And it's
God.
also a thing where, yeah, you can have, it's horrible to have that many baby daddies and baby mothers in that kind of time frame, like Nick Cannon in the
Uh-huh.
future. But to have that many with even the same
Same
person,
person.
it's very dangerous. It's
So
not good.
Is.
to add a little bit more context to what Kelly is saying, because
Mhm.
me and my man are very obsessed with the show actually,
Uh-huh.
and so she has pairs of multiples. So she has a pair
Okay.
of quins,
Uh-huh.
she has 2 pairs of triplets, and 2 pairs of twins. And then she also has, and the eldest child, I think the eldest daughter now should be like 15, 16 years old. So that should just tell you how close in age
Oh
each of
my
these kids
goodness.
are.
Yeah.
So was she
So
on fertility drugs or something? How is she
This is
having?
all
they're
natural.
not. So they're a very religious couple. So they're
Uh-huh.
not very open about their fertility in the
Oh,
show. So I'm pretty
okay.
sure there has been IVF and
Yeah.
IVI treatments and all that stuff like that to
Mm-hmm.
have these children. So even to his mother, to the husband's mother,
Mm-hmm.
mama, whatever they call her, she has put her foot down with them already about it. There was just like, you keep having these children, but you have no system to take care of them. Like, y'all are ridiculous at this point. She's called them out so many times
Really?
to the point where in her last pregnancy, they were afraid to tell her. And when they told her, she just got up and walked away.
I don't blame her. that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, because it's like, yes, it's great to have a community to be around your children, but once your
Mhm.
community is now being responsible for your children as the
Mhm.
primary caretakers when you can't do it, it's kind of unfair, and I don't
Yeah.
blame her.
Yeah, I seen that personally with not that many, but I know someone who has 7 kids, and it's like their high school sweetheart, and
Mhm.
I guess because it's not multiple baby daddies, that it's looked at like, okay, this is my husband. I've been with him
We have a
this
healthy
whole
full
time.
family.
Yeah, but they're not doing well financially. It's just
Right.
you just have 7 children out here struggling on assistance. That doesn't make you better because you're married for one, and your 7 kids are all by the same man. I find it quite disgusting, actually, to be like. I think it's irresponsible, especially I can understand being younger. We've all been young and dumb, but once you get to after a certain threshold, like that, maturity is supposed to kick in, and I don't know, just the common sense, like maybe this is not a good choice. Maybe I need to plan things out before I, have another birth, give another birth or anything like that. But
yeah.
Listen, that's why my rule when I was single is you are allowed to have one child max. Because after one, you should realize that this is a lot of shit to deal with,
It's a
and
lot.
that you don't want to do that shit again with just anybody.
Yep.
And if you keep having more, like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? As in, you have one child max, or whoever you date have one child
No,
max?
whoever I would date, they couldn't have more than one child.
Oh, mine was just 0. I'm sorry. I was very
all right,
biased.
bitch. Well,
I did it
every
one
place
time.
I've lived, dating sucks, and it sucks everywhere from what I hear. So I was like, I'll give a man who has a child a chance because I love kids. But you gotta come correct, and you gotta be smart enough to not want to put yourself in the same scenario again. So if I got the sense of any of that, no, I'm out the door. Like, if you're out here living your best reckless life, then go ahead without me.
Facts.
Yeah. I guess I just did it one time, and I was just like, no, this is not the life for me. I'm good.
I've only done it once too.
I've only done it once.
Mm-hmm.
It was the fuckboy. That's it.
Yeah. And then also seeing someone else do it, and seeing a very good friend of mine, who was a very good friend of mine, do that I'm a date a single dad thing. Bruh. I was just like, yes, this definitely confirmed that this is definitely not the life for me, and this is me seeing it as from a third party perspective. So,
yeah. Well, I feel like watching these different scenarios, whether it be good, bad, or toxic, otherwise, like, to me, you gotta recognize the good and the bad in all of them, and pick and choose what you want from your next steps.
Yeah.
And that's the part of the cycle that I don't understand. Like, if you see this, like, to me, these are alarms. Like, these are problems. Like, the normalcy of it all is terrifying, because this shouldn't be normal. Like, that many kids, regardless of one or many, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just too much.
It's a lot of children.
It is.
I don't want more than 2, and that's just me being tired all the time. It might be fun. I don't know. But either way, I ain't making them more than 2.
Right. My max is 3. My man said that if we can afford a third later on in life, then we can have a third. Other than that,
listen, if we have a third, that homie will be adopted or fostered, okay? Because it won't be coming out of me. I can promise you that. I will sacrifice my body twice.
That's all you get.
That's all you get, me. I want to live, okay? No.
It's funny.
So, like, the people who go through these cycles, like, some of them see the cons more than the pros, and like, I don't want to do that shit, and I'm not going to do that shit. Like, I either don't want kids, or I don't want to be a monogamous, whatever their choice is, but they see the problems in it, and they try to do a corrective action. But the ones that just keep going in the cycle, like, my mom had my sister when she was like 15. That's all I needed to hear. I was like, it won't be me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I judge anyone who had a child as a kid, but I was just saying, watching that, just hearing the stories of my mother and sister growing up in St. Thomas, I don't want to do none of that.
Yep.
0. I'm sorry. I living at home with my mom and my kid and her siblings and my siblings. Nah. I'm not. This is not the life for me. I'm sorry. I'm too bougie of a bitch. No.
Right.
Yes.
My pride is too big.
Too large.
But it also comes from a place of like recognition. Like it's like even though you see other people go through it, I think it's like if you don't sit here and take a lesson from it or learn something from it, you're just gonna end up falling into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens a lot of the times. Like we recognize that at these points in our lives, we don't want children at whatever point in our life, whether we were 18, 19, 25, like we recognize, no, I don't want no kids right now. I don't want nobody kids crawling out of me. I'm good. I'm fine. Ain't having it, not doing it. But it's like, because we recognize that there's like certain struggles attached to it. And whether we want to deal with those struggles, it's a personal choice. So it's like us, we chose not to deal with it. Because we've had conversations about this many, many times before, me, Melissa, and Kelly. So we've had our own personal conversations about how we felt about it, whatever we were going through at those times, whether we were in like super long-term relationships or thought that, oh my God, this guy would have been an amazing father or whatever the case is. It's just like, no.
And I've been sitting here contemplating if I should say something, and I think I'm just going to say it, but I was with this person for a very, very, very long time, a decade. And it all ended horribly. And what happened was, long story short, we had sex unprotected, knew it, know what can come from it, but it ended so bad to the point where I did get pregnant. And what led to that is the conversation that we had that I just could not believe the words that came out of his mouth. And it was, I'm fine being a baby daddy. If you don't want a kid, you can just give it to me.
See?
Wow.
And to be honest, the entire time we were together, it was long distance. So for me to be in a long distance relationship, for one, it's difficult as is. We made it work for the whole entire time. Was great up until this point. And I'm thinking, okay, for one, being a parent is not just a spur of the moment type of thing. You have to literally think about this. The cash register rings the moment that child is birthed, even before it's birthed. And for you to just make that ignorant ass motherfucking statement of, well, I'm fine being a baby daddy. If you don't want it, you can just give it to me. As if this is a Build-A-Bear that we made in the mall. Like, no.
Like we just adopted a dog or something. Like,
right. It's
also,
not going to
as a
work.
long distance couple, like,
right?
Like,
how is that
what are you talking about?
You're supposed to be responsible for a week out of like every 10 months. Like, I'm confused.
Right. And for any mother, the mom is the one who has the most priority and the most responsibility, even in the very beginning, for the first few years. So no, that was not going to work. I'm not going to put an infant on a plane to shoot to you so you can take care of, like, what the hell? So then it also came to the point where I was panicking, freaking out, and it was so terrible that I ended up terminating the pregnancy, all for the fact that I could not possibly give birth to a child. For one, we weren't living in the same area, didn't know how it was going to turn out, and then two, I'm not having a kid in a loveless relationship. I'm just not, especially after that kind of comment and the things that happened also with that situation. It was just too much. I was not going to subject a child to that. I wasn't raised in any kind of environment like this. I never had to deal with any kind of co-parenting. My parents are still together for 45 years and still going. Like, it's not the life that I live, so why the fuck am I going to let a kid that I bring into the world have to deal with that?
Yeah.
And I can't put aside the fact that for even 9 years, he was a great guy. Don't know what the fuck happened, turned into a narcissist, didn't see red flags, obviously, but I'm not going to just put 9 years ahead of that one thing that happened, because that is the last thing that I heard and that I experienced. And I wasn't going to subject anybody, and let alone me, have to deal with that for 18 years plus parole with a child.
Right.
Because when you are a parent, because when you're a parent for life.
Yep.
You don't take that as just a little thing off the street. That's a human being that you have brought into this world, and it is your responsibility, no matter how tough that child is, no matter how tough your life is going, you do have to keep in mind that you are forever a mother and a father.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it's that whole situation. Unfortunately, I'm still in the healing mode from that,
Mhm.
from the relationship and also the termination. But I
Right.
had to do what was best for me, and I could not have done it possibly without these two ladies. Like,
Right.
seriously, they're my soul sisters for life for
Oh,
that
I love
reason,
it.
and then some.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
but you got to do what's best for you.
Yeah, you have to, because even me and Kelly
Mm-hmm.
had our own personal conversation about it, because I
Mm-hmm.
also terminated a pregnancy as well, because
Mhm.
I know that it wasn't best for me at the point at that time, but not also was it best for it was best for me to do that. It was also best for my boyfriend, who I'm still with till to this day, and this was
Mhm.
3 years ago, and this was a decision that we both made together, because we
Mhm.
both weren't at a point where we were mentally, financially, or just all around just ready for anything like that, because
Mhm.
you know we had one reckless night and whatever the case is, now we're not reckless like that anymore. We're more smarter about how we go around things and whatever the case is. But it honestly was very early into our relationship, maybe like
Mhm.
about like 5 to 6 months into our relationship, and it was just like, yeah, no, this
Yeah.
cannot be happening. And what also thing that for us is the fact that my boyfriend and I are people who heavily believe in marriage and the institution of family.
Mhm.
And I've already had conversations about the fact that we don't want children if we're not married.
Mm.
Because his parents have also been together for a very long time, and they are still together till to this day. I think it's been like almost 40 years, if anything, like like Kelly's parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's what we grew up seeing. Like all of his cousins who have kids are all married. They're all in a family unit. They all have that nuclear family structure. So he's very influenced by that, and I'm very influenced by my family members, or like my siblings who are still in long-term marriages and have a family unit. So I already knew like it was something that was going to be uncomfortable for me, and it was going to be uncomfortable for him. So we made that choice.
Mhm.
So when Kelly came to us and let us know what was going on, me and her had our own sidebar conversation where I'm just like, well, you know, it has to be about what's going to make you comfortable and where you see your life going. If this is something that you know you cannot handle, or you know that you are not prepared for, do not force yourself to do anything, because the way I see it is like forcing yourself to do something that you're not okay with doing, or you know will affect you.
Mhm.
It's like it holds more burden,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not always the right thing to do. So
Absolutely.
it's just like you have to figure out what is the right thing for you, because it's not the
Mhm.
right thing for everyone else.
Yeah, and I think that's a very brave decision. I actually had to make that decision 13 years ago myself. Um, just figuring out, being able to sit down and figure out, okay, is this going to be best for the child? Is this going to be best for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I really want to bring a child into this world under these type of circumstances? Um, so I do want to chime in on with Kelly, to piggyback off of what you said, that he was good for the first 9 years. I want to tell you that I am so proud of you for judging him for the present, what he presented to you in the present time, and not making the decision based off of how good he was before.
Yeah.
Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of women, that's why they are stuck in certain situations, because they're like, well, he wasn't always like this, or he was good
Yeah.
before he,
Yeah.
and they stay trapped in that mindset of judging him on who he was before, even though
Yeah.
he could be garbage right now. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
um yeah, that I'm just so proud of you for that.
Oh,
they're
thank
they're
you.
they're
You're welcome.
usually very stuck on that uno reverse back to the person they're going to be with
Uh-huh.
already.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Like, if we could
No.
just get back. Yeah, and I'm like, he's probably not going
He's
back
going
to
back.
the
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
so it's about being realistic in that. It's like
Mhm.
you have to understand that there's people who can be really shitty people, and at some point in life make a change and become really good people. And then
Mhm.
there's really good people who can
Mm-hmm.
make a change and become a very
Mm-hmm.
shitty person.
Yeah.
So it's just recognize what
Mhm.
phase that person's at the time that you're going through something with them. And
Mhm.
relying on the past is like the worst thing you can do, whether it's
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
friendships, relationships, family members, anything. Just because something was good in the past does not mean it's going to be good in the future.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think is maybe as people, we just tend to hold on to that notion of like, it was real good back then. But was it?
So nostalgic. Yeah.
Right. Was it?
Rose-colored glasses.
Just like how we like to say, like, the 90s was good, the 80s was good. I'm like, but was it?
I know. I have to think back because I'm one of those. I'm always talking about the 90s were so amazing. I'm always saying that.
And I'm just like, but this was drug and women.
And then you look at stuff from the 90s, you're like, what?
Yeah.
On?
My bad. There was a lot
they
of
were full of it too. Yeah. What am I talking about?
I'm like, the music was good. The fashion was good.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah, the music and fashion was on point. They can't take that, but
everything else was trash.
Right.
A lot of cocaine during that time.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, like, one little piece for me is, like, I at one point had to stop thinking that way of the rose-colored glasses and started thinking in reality, and also the fact that anybody can kill a motherfucker. You're not finna kill me, or I'm not finna go to jail for killing you. So if this is not where I'm supposed to be, I got to go. It's just, it is what it is. Like, I'm always trying to avoid jail forever. Like, let's just keep it a buck.
Right.
I'm not built for it, so I'm gonna try to stay my ass out as best I can. So if a motherfucker's gonna make me want to kill them, I gotta go. This is not clearly where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Because this is too close to jail time for me. I ain't about this life.
Yeah. But like Kelly said, it's also recognized when that love is lost and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Or just realizing that you just don't like a person no more.
And I
think that's way more important than whether you still are in love with somebody or not. Like, you have to like the person that you're with as well. Like, you have to like
even in love with them.
Yeah.
Like, you could love someone and not be in love with them. Like, and that's something that people always forget to separate. Like, are you in love with them or do you just love them?
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Lord.
That's growing up.
Yeah, that's adulthood right there. Well, ladies, I think we covered a lot. Do y'all have any last tidbits y'all want to share on this particular topic?
No. I felt like we shared a whole lot.
We shared a lot.
We did.
Therapeutic.
I think we were respectful in every aspect too.
And y'all know where to find us if you think we weren't. And just also remember to be respectful, because we will not answer disrespect. Okay.
Or we may answer it with more disrespect. Don't play.
Depending on the mood, depending what kind of day it is.
Or who you catch.
Or whatever comes out our mouths, okay? Right. So, let's just keep it respectful, and that way we don't have to even talk about it. Great. Yay. So, as we introduced in our last segment, we are going to do a little simmer down now instead of a social media moment, because your girl has a rant that I need to get off my chest, and I've been allowed by the council to get it off of my chest. I'm pissed the fuck off, okay? So this goes out to Amazon Music, because y'all about to lose a customer, and honestly, if we take our podcast off, who's it gonna hurt? It's not gonna hurt y'all. You can keep making money. But yeah, y'all got me fucked up, because guess the fuck what? I am explicit. I want to hear explicit music. Keyword our podcast is also explicit. And when you censor my Schoolboy Q or any of my music, and it's an explicit labeled song, I have a fucking problem. When I want to hear about somebody smacking a hoe and punching a bitch, I want to hear that. Do not censor me. And if she wants to call a bitch a hoe, let her call a bitch a hoe, because that's what I put on. It's on my likes. It's on my great loves. It's always on my fucking playlist for a reason. I'm a repetitive music listener. I listen to the same shit. I add a few sprinkles, but I listen to the same shit every goddamn day. Do not censor my shit, okay? Y'all are starting to really piss me the fuck off, and you will be losing a customer. And I'm...
Oh, man. I love this.
See, I've been telling you to hit up them YouTube music screens for the longest.
Okay, Google already got enough of my money. That's my problem with YouTube.
We'd like to spread it out.
Yeah, like everybody's getting too much of my money, and y'all are monopolizing too much. So that's why YouTube hasn't got mine. So
the reason why I use YouTube Music is because there's a lot of underground artists, like more not mainstream artists that I listen to, and a lot of them prefer to post their stuff to YouTube because one, you get you get revenue from it. And these people are not mainstream, they're not signed to record labels and stuff like that. So this is a great way for them to make money while still putting their music out there. So that's personally why I prefer YouTube Music, and the curation of playlists, like auto-generated playlists, is just fire.
Well, I'm about to be open to the market, so
just
everybody can get a chance.
Give it a try, just give it a try, see how you like it. If you don't like it, you can always get off, but it's just a recommendation.
We finna find out. That's all I have for my rant.
Yeah, but this PC life is just
y'all piss me off. Like,
get ridiculous.
Let me live my life. I don't bother nobody. I cuss motherfuckers out with my windows closed and my music loud. Y'all can't even hear me cussing people out. Like, I don't give nobody the finger on the road. I want to, but I don't. I keep it PC out here. Leave my music be.
Are you asking for much?
No.
My music choices are what they are, y'all. It's fine. I got a 401k. It's okay.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Well, do y'all have any rants y'all need to get off y'all chest?
No,
I'm good today, surprisingly.
All right. Beautiful. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's get this wrapped up so we can go enjoy our day, ladies. So we're going to wrap it up with our weekly recommendation. So this can be literally anything we think will help improve our listeners' lives or their mood or whatever floats their boat. It could be music, movies, whatever, TV shows, all the things. So, ladies, I'm going to knock mine out first since I just had that rant. And there's a Netflix show that I just finished in the last week, and it is fucking fabulous. It is called Remarriage and Desire. It's a South Korean show. It is dubbed over in English. You're welcome. And when I tell you, it is all the vibes I need. It is drama, it's revenge, it's fashion, it's luxury. It's just all the juicy tidbits. Okay. I love it. It is fucking great. It is the best revenge show I've ever seen, if not forever, in a long time. Nice. It's therapeutic a little bit. Who wants to go next, ladies?
Okay. I know you just divorced Amazon, but I was divorced. So on Prime Video, I just found this show. I think it came out like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's a show called Upload that I just discovered last week.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay, yes. So I am loving that right now. If any listeners don't know about it, please check it out. The whole concept is pretty cool. It's basically about being able to upload your subconscious mind into an avatar that is you, but into a digital space so that you don't die. So it's kind of like the alternative to heaven, if you will. But it's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna give it away, but that's hilarious. It's funny, it's romantic, it makes you think. I like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go.
Okay.
Have you ever in your life seen and opened your dishwasher and all your plates have that little dusty white little spots on your stuff, on your plates and cups?
Yes.
And then when you open, and then when you open your washing machine, sometimes you have all this lint on your clothes, even though you've dried it. And also it kind of has like those little splotches on it. Well, that's a sign that you need to clean your dishwasher and your washing machine. You're supposed to do it once a month. And all you got to do is go to your local hardware store or even Target, Walmart, anywhere that takes your money, and get your washing machine and dishwasher tablet cleaners, and that'll just get rid of all that kind of soap scum and all the little nasty bits that are in the drain that you cannot reach, but you need that chemical to really get in there and take it out. But I have a whole schedule. I have it written up on a little document. Let me know when I need to get my cleaner out and do what it needs to do. It takes 90 minutes for each one, and you're good to go. And it refreshes everything. It has a nice lemon scent or an orange scent, and you'll notice that your water bill will actually go down because your appliance doesn't have to work as hard to get your stuff clean anymore. So I would definitely recommend monthly to clean your appliances.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm a domestic bitch.
Literally talking about that yesterday.
Adulting.
Yes.
All right, so my recommendation is that there's a particular brand out there that currently has me in a chokehold, and they can get all my coins, and it's Soap and Glory, and their body products, fantastic, and they're very affordable. They're like within a very good, reasonable price range. I think like the most expensive thing they have is like $12.99, and that's it. And this is like their body products I'm talking about. They have this body butter in their original scent. The original scent is just the best line. I have the oil, the body butter, the lotion, the damn body wash, and I swear to God, every night I just go to sleep feeling like $1 million. Like I just feel like a princess. My man can't.
Yes.
Love it.
Like they got me in a chokehold. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a shea butter baby no more. I'm not a shea butter baby no more. I'm not a cocoa butter baby no more. I'm a Soap Glory baby. I want to go to bed.
Not everybody needs to be.
Right. I just want to go to sleep smell like sweet, sweet roses.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet roses.
They got me in a chokehold. But yeah, find them at Target, find them at Ulta, find them at, I think, like Walgreens, all them places like that. Mm-hmm. They're everywhere.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, ladies, we are wrapping this up. And Miss Enchantress, is there anything else you want to share with the class before we head out?
Plug yourself.
Yes, let me plug here. So if you're not following me, I'm going to tell you where you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter, but not so much. So I'm going to give my Instagram. It's just Enchantress the Goddess. And you can also follow me on Enchanted Soul Radio. If you want to take a listen at my show, you can find me on Spotify, Google, Anchor, everywhere. It's there.
All the places.
Okay. Yes, all the places.
Yay.
Love it.
Thank you
Thank you so much for coming on today. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, anytime.
It's so good to talk to someone.
Yes.
Outside the bubble.
I mean,
outside the bubble.
But y'all have a new friend now, so you can't take it back.
I love that.
I mean,
we here.
Even the podcast been social distancing, so
yeah, we took a little break from guests for a little bit, but we back and we're happy to be here. Yay. And you're our first guest for the season.
Yay! I feel special.
Well, thank you so much. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you. You've been listening to High Tea with Mel, Kel, and Kay. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. And if you follow us on Instagram at HighT_podcast. And go ahead and follow us on Twitter as well at HighTPod1. And take a peek in the description box for all things High Tea. And we'll talk to you the same time, same place, and next week. MKK out.